so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the free, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're watching MaxspeedTV.
Alrighty, welcome everybody. A spur of the moment thing here tonight on MaxspeedTV. We're going to be doing a Downforce Racing Series Season 7 of the Grow Masters Truck Series recap and a Downforce Racing Series Cup Series recap here tonight. Kind of talk about, you know, the past winners, the champion for each series. We do have Corey Moore also here in TeamSpeak. We're going to be dragging him up and kind of talking to him a little bit. Hanover is in chat here tonight. We're going to be probably asking him some questions. He is on voice non-activation until Sunday. Of course, you know, Hanover, hopefully you get to feel him better, buddy. We you know, we'd love to talk to you. Hopefully Bob and many others are able to join us. If not, that is fine too. This was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. So, but hopefully everybody had a good October and a good Halloween. I do apologize to everybody for missing yesterday. That's another reason kind of why I'm doing this, to you know, kind of talk about, you know, maybe get into, of course, you know, who won the race, which we kind of see that here. Looks like Bentley won it, but we'll get to that here in a minute. But how is everybody out there here tonight? We do appreciate it. A big shout out to, of course, everybody out there, you know, that tuned in every single race that we were able to be here to broadcast for the Grow Masters Truck Series and the Cup Series this season. You know, 15 races on both ends of that. And it turned out really to be a great season overall. A lot of action out on the track, some comers and some goers and some newcomers. And, you know, we even had some drivers come in very late in the season, such as Caden Henry, who pretty much blew the doors off of everybody once he got in here. But we'll get into that here as well. But glad to see everybody out there. Now, jumping into, of course, you know, the Cup Series first, since I've already kind of brung that up here. You know, the season started all the way back in July the 18th to be exact. And, of course, you know, we ran it all the way through until, of course, Halloween yesterday. Like I said, I wasn't able to make it yesterday. There might have been a few others here, too, that I wasn't able to show up. But we started back in July. You know, when these seasons kick off, folks, as a broadcaster perspective, and as an owner or somebody who plays a big factor like Hanover and Mike, who keeps these things going, you know, when a season starts, you know, they don't expect it to go as quickly as they do. But, you know, it really, you know, this season, man, just flew by. And now we're, of course, getting into a little bit of a break here. But, yeah, July the 18th, Las Vegas, start things off. Benny Mayest is pulling out the victory there. Of course, round number 2, Michigan. We had Austin Williams grabbing his first victory of the season. He had 2 overall. Looks like Corey disconnected, unfortunately. But then round 3, we had Vinny coming back, grabbing another one at Charlotte. And Ryan Patty coming in, grabbing, you know, being part-time on Thursday, coming in and showing his stuff, bringing out the victory at Pocono. Iowa, Jeff grabbing his first win of the season at Iowa. The Nashville Super Speedway was Vinny again, grabbing his 3rd win of the season. Austin Williams grabbing his 2nd, August the 29th, before everybody got a break. As they say right here, the old farts need a break. So everybody got a break there, September the 5th, and then we got right back into it. We ended up at IMS. Vinny grabbing another victory there. Then Ryan coming in on round 9 at Homestead. Ryan Patty there. Then Vinny again at Chicagoland. Then you see where Caden Henry comes into play. coming into the Downforce Racing Cup Series, just dominating the next 3 races, winning at Bristol, Auto Club, and Daytona for round 11, 12, and 13. Round 14, we were at Kansas for Vinny Maestas grabbing another victory there. And then rounding out the season yesterday, October the 31st, Halloween night, Bentley Glazier coming back in for the final race of the season and grabbing the victory there. We're going to go over here real quickly into the stats of that race. Kind of talk about, you see all the bonus points and everything. The fastest lap sled, looks like Bentley started on the outside pole there, finished in first. Jeff actually grabbing the pole at Phoenix and finishing second. Dave Hunt started just outside of the top 5 and 6th and finished third. So a podium finish for Dave Hunt. And then we see everybody kind of falling in line there. Getting over there inside this little area. Took an hour and 15 minutes, 140 laps. Had 4 leaders and 5 lead changes. 6 cautions. I do believe that does include all of the stages for 24 laps. So not a bad race, it looked like overall. Bentley 80 laps led, Jeff 34. Looks like Todd McGregor led 4 laps, unfortunately finishing a lap down. He did get 2 bonus points out of that. Down here we get to Caden Henry. He led 22 laps, 5 bonus points as well, but unfortunately 20 laps down in that race. It looks like he also disconnected, several drivers disconnecting here, unfortunately, at Phoenix. Caden Henry, Chris Walker, and Corey Moore. Corey might have had some problems. It looks like he didn't even start, unfortunately. Short track racing at its finest here, Hanover. You got that right. You know how those go, but top 3 finishing with 0 incidents. So that's hard to do at a short track. So it looks like that's really everybody that finished with 0 incidents, unfortunately. But yeah, right there, Terry finishing in that 6th spot. Started in 8th. Total of 40 points. So a good run, it looks like, for everybody. Getting down here to the driver bonuses. Well, this is kind of the outside that y'all don't see out there, everybody. This is kind of the back end of the points. We may try to start pulling these up after every race, too, for everybody. Remains to be seen, but we'll see what happens. But you can see here where the bonus points come into play for the stages as well as the incidents. Led the most laps or led 1 lap or more, led 1 or more laps. So they get bonus points for, you get 1 for lead 1 or more laps. You get 1 for leading the most laps. You get 2 for no incidents. Of course, winning the stage, you get 5, and then it goes down kind of from there. So Bentley won stage 1, it looks like, finishing that with 5 bonus points, and then he came in second in the 2nd stage. This will be, of course, uploaded. Yeah, I know they're not available until the next day. I know. But that's just kind of a, one of those things we might do. But kind of a recap of that Phoenix race. I know we got Hanover in chat here tonight. Looks like Corey Moore, unfortunately, did disconnect. But, I know Hanover out there. I know you can't talk, but we'll give you time to answer. Getting into the final race, Halloween night. I know everybody had probably some Halloween paints out there. Like I said, I want to apologize to everybody that I did not make it again, but going into the final race of the season, Hanover, it's one of those races. It's a short track. Everybody's going in there to get the best finish they can. How was the mindset by everybody, knowing it's the final race, knowing that now they're going to have, once they get through it, they're going to have some off weeks? And, what was everybody's, I guess you could say attitude going into that race last night, bud? All right. Well, we do got Bob Lacavara here as well. All right. So Bob is here. So we'll let you answer. And we'll get Bob up here in. Well, we're going to go ahead and pull him up in here while you're answering that. It looks like Bob Lacavara has joined us here tonight for this Downforce Racing recap. So, Bob, glad to have you out here, buddy. I know it was a spur of the moment thing for me, but, I wanted to do it for everybody out there. But, first and foremost, Bob, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thanks for the invitation. I'm glad I was available when I saw your message come through.
Oh yeah, that's always a good thing when you're available to come and kind of chit chat with us and kind of talk about the season and how it all came out to play. I know yesterday we had looks like a decent turnout for Phoenix. Of course, Phoenix was a short track style race and. Head over out there and chat here saying that everybody just needed, was looking at what they needed in the point standings wise. And, and of course, crowned a champion as well. But, going into that race, Bob, as well for you, what was it like?
Well, I guess the first thing is that we find that the car count always drops off toward the end of the season. That's pretty typical. It's pretty typical, actually, in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
So you get toward the end of the season, and there's some folks who, they really don't want to be that guy and get in the way. And then there's other folks who feel like, we're out of the point standing, so, we'll hit it again next season. So, with that said, I expect really good participation at the start of the new season. So this season, typically it winds down when we get to this last race, where we've got the hardcore participants who are driving, whether they're in the race or not, in the race in terms of the point standings, and that's really pretty typical.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
And as expected in the race, the cream always rises to the top, as in real NASCAR. Typically, you get to the end of the season, and it's not atypical in real NASCAR, where you find the playoff drivers winning and running up front. Even though during the season, there might be more diverse people up front.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So I just did a count here for the Phoenix race for yesterday. You had 15 drivers, which is for Phoenix, that's still a decent amount of drivers. That's it's a mile, it's a short track. Definitely can be one of those style races that can either go really good or really bad because of the way Phoenix is. And I believe y'all were racing at the new Phoenix too, the new layout, correct?
Yes, that is correct. The current NASCAR layout,
Yeah.
right?
So you had the front, the start finish line now where that dog leg is. So that.
There's no question. Since they flipped the track, it's unique.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. So well, getting down into, of course, going back here to the season. 15 races in the season. We had a couple of new drivers come in. Caden kind of came in toward the last of it, and he really kind of come in and showed what he was able to do. We had a few others as well that really came in and showed how well they can race against other drivers. And that's the style of race that you guys are wanting, not only for the Truck Series but the Cup Series as well. Like-minded drivers, hard but clean drivers as well. And I've known Caden for a while, and when he came in and he started tearing it up out on the track 3 in a row. What was everybody's mind going through when he just kept on winning? I want to hear your take on it.
Well, yeah, that's always pretty impressive when we have a new driver in the league who comes in and starts winning like that. Against the likes of Vinny Maestas and Jeff and
Yep.
and Charlie and all the folks who are normally running up front. So, that says something.
Yeah.
You look at Caden's iRating and his experience, both real life experience and iRacing experience, and it's not as if he's a new guy.
No.
He's it's not his first rodeo. He might be fairly new to our league, but certainly with the number of races that he ran 6 races and he won 3 of them. That's a pretty darn good batting average.
Yeah, that's a 50%. So,
Yeah.
he is right there. And, of course, we do expect him hopefully to come back next season. And I'm sure you guys are going to be, doing some recruiting in the off season. But, I want to kind of jump over to the truck series, too, because Grow Masters, came on board this season and, sponsored the truck series, got it out there. And, it really started off, with the Grow Masters Truck Series. It started off with a pattern. Ross Rawlings, Jeff, Vinny, Jeff, Ross, Jeff. For the first 8 races, and then it kind of kind of separated themselves. But the Truck Series, a great season as well, getting that out there to everybody, and Greg and Corey coming on board, getting that sponsored, getting it set up. Hanover said he was just there for the SR anyway, so
Right.
But great season, and the trucks are an animal in itself. When you go to the trucks to the Cup or the Cup to the trucks, you're fighting a whole different animal.
Oh, there's no question about it. With the introduction of the new car, the next gen car, the Truck Series is more like old NASCAR. It's more like traditional NASCAR, both the racing, the setups of the trucks, so on and so forth. The style of racing is a little bit different than with the next gen car. So there's no question that it's different. The trucks tend to fit different tracks than the Cup car does. So, you find that the trucks are perform well and handle well on certain tracks, and then on other tracks they're an awful handful. Just like the next gen car, it fits certain tracks better than others. So we find from week to week between trucks on Tuesday and Cup cars on Thursday, that we have these different situations where the combination of track and vehicle might be easier or harder, and that creates a lot of interesting situations among the winners.
Yeah, and it does. And going from Hanover out there's some tracks you drive and others you hang on for life. Right?
I think that's an absolutely great description, and that certainly fits me personally. There's some tracks when I feel like I can really get out there and race.
Yeah.
And then there's other tracks where I'm just trying not to die.
Super speedways. We know that. We know in all secret that is Jeff Hollingsworth's favorite races, is super speedway races. Even though he says it's not. We know in secret it is. I got to pick on Jeff. So
I get it.
We had it was a very, very, very good season for both. I mean, we kind of looking at the schedule here now for the Truck Series, and it was kind of flipped. That's the way you guys do it over here. If you can, is y'all flip it. So whatever y'all race on Tuesdays, well, Thursdays is going to be totally different. It's going to be backwards.
We try to do that so that we're not racing 2 really similar tracks the same time at the same time and during 1 week. And of course, as we get to the middle of the schedule, sometimes there's crossover, from on a 2-week range or something like that. But generally speaking, if we're going to run Daytona in the trucks, we're going to run something totally different in the Cup cars.
Yeah, y'all's going to run a 1.5 miles or a mile track, or kind of something to get everybody's mind off of what happened Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I don't know that anybody really thinks of it that way. I think most people in the league are having a good time, and they're not thinking about, oh well, Tuesday wasn't so great. Maybe I can make up for it on Thursday. I don't sense that as being an attitude among our drivers. I think even when people have a bad night, they just chalk it off to a bad night, but I had fun anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what it is. You guys go out there, you guys race hard, but y'all also race very clean. Now there are some instances to where some tempers are going to be out there, but that goes. I think as a broadcaster, and I've seen it, that goes with any track.
Yeah,
You're going to have that.
there's no question about it. And, I take a little pride in the fact that I think we probably race cleaner than real NASCAR does.
I would agree.
I
I
think I think there's a lot of tracks where we have fewer cautions, and we certainly have fewer on-track conflicts than in the real world. So, I think uh, that's a real positive aspect of the league.
Yep, yep. Hanover said enemies on the track, friends in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
All right. Well, we had a champion for both of them. We're going to stay here with the trucks here. Now, looking at it, Jeff Hollingsworth grabbing the championship there, the truck series, a total of 690 points. Charlie in second, Todd in third, kind of rounding out the top three of the truck series. Jeff's going to be looking to, grab, a back-to-backer going into the next season. Of course, we'll talk about, kind of what's in store for that here in just a little bit. But, Jeff, I wouldn't say dominated the season, but he did enough to where it could put him enough in the lead to where he really didn't have to worry about too much. Because of the way, the stages are, y'all run, stage 1, stage 2, and then the shootout to the end. So those bonus points that Jeff picked up throughout the season really helped going into those final few races toward the end.
Well, there's no question about it. If you look at the standings, Jeff had 5 wins, Ross Rawlings had 5 wins, and a big part of the difference, well, a significant part was the bonus points that Jeff
Yep.
accumulated, and we typically see that at the top of the charts. That was certainly the case with Vinny and Cup, where his bonus points really pushed him way beyond reach.
Yeah.
So, running up front, getting those stage points, running clean, leading laps, it all adds up by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, hey, I forgot about that. Hanover said the drop weeks too does help as well. So yeah, y'all have 3 drop weeks in each series.
Yeah,
So
that's correct.
yeah, so that does help. I keep forgetting about the drop weeks. you
Right,
know.
right.
But yeah, the drop weeks help as well because you're as it was explained to me. I think you and Hanover both explained it, Mike as well. Those drop weeks, it may not be your most recent race, or it may be your most recent race that's dropped, or it may go all the way back until the beginning of the season. You don't really know where that drop week's going to come in at when y'all start adding those. So it shuffles it up throughout the whole season.
It does. There's no question about that. We're always dropping your worst race. So if your worst race happens to be your last race, the points from another race may move up into that slot. The reason why we do that is that we understand with a 15-week schedule and we're running Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, not everybody can be there all 15 sessions.
Yep.
Life happens. So the idea is to give people a break. We've got people that travel for business, there's family situations, so on and so forth. So it gives you a little bit of leeway during the course of the season to have those drop weeks, and it works well for us. But it does keep things fluid right up
Yep.
until the end of the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you see that throughout, both not only the truck series, but jumping over the cup here too. You're talking about the bonus points here for Vinny. Golly, 153 bonus points in the season alone. Now he only beat Jeff by 72 points, but 72 points, you can only pick up, what is it, like 65 points in a race if you can maximize all the points?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
If you maximized at 65 points, so that you're working the numbers there when you get up to the end. It's almost like the old days of NASCAR before the chase.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, there was even if Vinny wouldn't have made it to the race, and Jeff would have got all the points needed, he still wouldn't have had enough.
That's right.
So, it was still a good season. Of course, Vinny grabbing the championship in the Cup Series, Jeff second, tied in third. Of course, you see Vinny's wins on the season. They got 8 poles, 6 wins, 11 top 5s, and 11 top 10s for a total of 717 points. He had 13 starts, 12 races counted. Of course, that, the drop weeks and all that stuff. 8 poles throughout the whole season. I mean, what a that's outstanding. Considering how many drivers the Cup Series started with, to how many actually was able to come out and finish out the season. Of course, like you said, getting down to the wire. Everybody, I'm not in it. I'm not gonna race. So. But it was an outstanding season for both ends of it, Tuesday and Thursday. I mean, there's a lot going on with the holidays coming up. We just got through Halloween. I know it's not a national holiday per se, but Halloween was yesterday. Kind of one reason why I wanted to do this, Bob, was I did miss yesterday because I had to work. But going into that Phoenix race, it's a short track. It's not nothing to where, you can't go out there and race. Just be careful.
Yeah, no question about it. Not only is it a short track, Phoenix is quirky. There's no other track on the circuit like it. With the dog leg and being able to go down on the apron, you've got 2 totally different ends to the track. So you could have a car that handles really well through 1 and 2, and it handles awful through 3 and 4, or the other way around. So yeah, Phoenix is definitely a unique track, and it produces a unique type of racing that we don't see at a lot of other tracks.
Yeah, Hanover out there saying the apron trashed a few cars. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we seen that here in the, with after everything was all, kind of said and done here, going back down to the Phoenix race here. Yeah, we had on Corey Moore that I don't know if something happened or something, but he disconnected. And then Chris and Caden, I guess, had problems. And then, unfortunately, we see several drivers that did finish the race, but, several laps down. It's just a product of Phoenix. It's not like you're going in there and you're trying to run it. I mean, you're trying to run it without any incidents, but Phoenix is so hard. Even the older Phoenix, where before with the grass, when they had all the grass there, and then
right.
And then the next one. I mean, Phoenix is just a unique track. Pocono, it's a mini Pocono, basically, is what I've been told.
Well, in a way, it certainly handles way different than Pocono. And the interesting thing about Phoenix is you could come out of that race with a handful of incident points and have never touched another car. It's not at all uncommon to come out of 4 and scrape the wall. You've got the Phoenix stripe rather than the Darlington stripe. It's not at all uncommon, particularly in the Cup car, in the dog leg. If you don't hit that dog leg just right, you'll drag the whole underbody of the car.
Yeah.
And then that fouls up the handling and so on and so forth. So yeah, Phoenix is a unique and quirky track.
Oh yeah, definitely so. And y'all run some tracks that a lot of leagues don't normally run. But we do see a lot of them on, on a pretty much your weekly basis. You see them on our racing with the leagues and officials that they're there constantly. But y'all run, y'all kind of make it, y'all make it different. And I know y'all made that transition a few seasons ago, of going to the open fixed style racing to a fully fixed. I remember when y'all were running that. Kind of compare of what you're seeing from then to now of the different style racing, that what it was to compared to now what it is with the fully fixed setups.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a difference. The reason in the past we ran that open fixed setup deal was the idea that you would be able to adjust the car to your particular liking. Not all drivers drive the same, and so on and so forth. That's why you can't have William Byron jump in Kyle Larson's car. They could not drive each other's cars. So the idea was that you would be able to tweak the setup and make it work for you individually. The problem that occurred was that some people were better at that tweaking than other people. So you would have to be a driver and your own crew chief at the same time. And that didn't appeal to some folks. We thought that we would go to fixed setup. We, of course, engineer our own setups. Terry Hanover Fist does a lot of the setups. I do some of the setups. And what we find, it's really interesting. With the fixed setup, it does not matter how bad the setup is. The cream always rises to the top. So you will see Jeff and Charlie and in this case Todd McGregor and some other folks. They tend to navigate those fixed setups. It wouldn't matter what you put in the car. Some of the stock iRacing setups are really terrible, and if we use those same guys would run up front, because they're just able to adapt to whatever that setup is. And then you have drivers like me, a mid-pack at best guy, and I am very particular about my setup, and I'm sure that you've seen this during the season. There are some times when I run up front, and that's because the setup works for my driving style. And then, the next week I'm journeying around in 10th or 15th, or sometimes not that good, because the setup just doesn't work for me. So, it's this juxtaposition that we have between this idea of having to be your own crew chief. And if you hit it right, just like in the real world, you're going to run well. And if you don't hit it right, things aren't going to go well. And being able to be adaptable to that fixed setup. And the good guys, the guys at the top of the chart, are very adaptable. It doesn't matter what you throw at them. It doesn't matter how much they complain, they still run up front.
Yeah, definitely so. I'm not one of the best of drivers either, Bob. When I was racing, I was a lap down car pretty much. I wasn't a mid-pack car. I was a lap down car. So, I was one of those that would just hope to finish a race. But, everybody can adapt, to, the setup. And as Hanover said, Tyler packs with the fixed setup. So, and that does make a lot of sense. Everybody's running the same setup. You can't really adjust much of anything. The only thing you could adjust is the brake bias, maybe your rack and pinion in the Gen 7s, the next gen. They went from a gearbox to a rack and pinion, so now you got to figure out all that out. And, it makes it more, I guess you could say, more competitive. And we've seen that for the past couple of seasons where it's just been more competitive, more hard racing. You don't know who's going to be where at any point. Yeah, you have your Charlies, you have your Todds, you have your Rosses, Jeffs, that are going to be, up toward the front, more than likely. But you still don't know who's going to win it. Look at Mike Whitaker, for instance, and that, win he got by saving fuel. Nobody thought that would happen. Mike did it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that was a real world situation too. I mean, that's why Joey Logano is in the Fast Four, right?
Yep.
They made the right call. They save fuel. Mike is a master at managing fuel and tires, and he really thinks that through. A lot of times before the beginning of the race, he has a strategy when he's coming in.
Yeah, yeah, always try to look at the bigger picture. When you get closer and closer, figure out what you need to do, and then go from there. Mike is really, really good at that. If you want to know how to save fuel and tires, just talk to Mike, because he can definitely help you out on that one for sure. But looks like Stephen Lane joining us in chat here tonight too. Of course, Stephen, one of the new guys over here as well. Has really come learning a lot, throughout the season. Expect great things from Steven. Of course, Steven's been helping me in the booth, here and there as well. But, for you guys, he's a driver. He's out there, one of the many that, over the seasons will improve. We will see that. And Steven has come a long way, really kind of learning from you and Hanover and Mike and Paul and Jeff, just kind of figuring out what's best at each track, what's best at each car, and then figuring out what he can do, as an individual driver too. But he's not the only one. Corey Moore, look how far Corey's come.
Corey has really improved. First of all, with Steven, Steven's doing great, and I end up racing around him quite a bit, and he's a pleasure to race with. We're happy to have him in the league. Corey is improving very, very quickly. Again, he's a guy that I end up racing around quite a bit, and recently I have found myself racing behind him. So he's doing really well. The other guy that I will give a shout out to is Todd.
Todd McGregor, yep.
Todd McGregor, when Todd first started racing with us, he was one of my mid-pack guys. And now he's running up front on a regular basis. He has really improved dramatically.
And that just comes with the weekly practices, when you can, the weekly races, learning, getting out there prior to the race even starting or qualifying, get out there and practicing, getting in a pack, getting around some drivers to figure it out. Okay, well, this is not going to work. I need to try something else, and that's what it takes.
Yeah, no question about that. Well, both Todd and Corey and Steven are learning quickly.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. Well, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay here, but, we are done with, kind of the recap of the season, I guess you could say, per se. Of course, getting into the off season now, Bob. And I did briefly before Corey, I guess he's having issues or something with TeamSpeak or something because he was unable to stay in TeamSpeak. But he talked to me briefly here in the here in TeamSpeak before I went live. But I talked briefly with him. He was asking me if I'm going to be available, next season, which I told him, as far as I know, yes. I know with work and everything with the holidays, we should be good to go for next season. But with that being said, we're this season, kind of done. Getting into the off season per se. What's the game plan now that everything's done for season 7 of the Growmasters Truck Series, the Downforce Racing Cup Series?
Yeah, so what it looks like, we are going to take the next 2 weeks. We're going to do a couple fun races for league members and a couple recruiting races. See if we can get some new folks convinced that we're the greatest league ever. We are going to start the season on the week of the 18th. And then, of course, that following week is Thanksgiving week. We will race that Tuesday, the 26th. We'll be off that Thursday. And then we're into the December schedule. Of course, we'll have the holiday break, and we have New Year's in there. So we'll work through that as the regular schedule, with the exception of the 2 holiday weeks. And then after the first of the year, we're into the Tuesday, Thursday pattern pretty solid till the end of the season.
Okay, so pretty much no off weeks until the season's over with. We got to get through these holidays.
Yeah, correct. Once we're over the holidays, then the schedule will be pretty consistent. There's not much coming up.
Okay, all righty. Well, we had Grow Masters Greg come on board for Tuesdays. Have you got in touch with him yet? Do we know kind of what's going to be in store for that?
Well, we'll have some announcements coming, so sit tight on that.
All right,
We'll let you know.
We'll let everybody be on a cliffhanger for that one, because I don't even know.
That's exactly right.
All righty.
We'll let you know when the time is right on that.
All righty. Well, as far as me and I'm concerned, Bob, I am available. Like I said, I do apologize for yesterday. I was trying to make it back in time. Couldn't do it. I had to go to Paris, Arkansas. Had to stay down there until the event was over with, and yeah, that was fun. But, overall it looked like it was a great race. It was a great season. Looking forward to next season as well. Getting back on board and, seeing what everybody, brings to the table for the Truck Series, the Cup Series, and, well, whatever shenanigans you and Hanover and Mike put out there. You never know what's going to happen each season.
Well, we're working on some shenanigans, no question about it. We may change up the track mix a little bit. We'll see. That'll all be part of the announcements coming over the next week or so.
Okay, all right. Might see some Dovers in there. Might see some Darlingtons. Might see some Glens. You just never know.
You just never know.
We might even see what is the longest track on iRacing? What is that? The biggest tracks like
Nuremberg.
Yeah,
Nuremberg.
Nuremberg. Yeah, might even see that one, folks.
I can pretty much guarantee you a hard no on that one.
A hard no on that one. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. All righty. Well, I guess we're not going to see Nuremberg, but we'll get that surprise announcement here. Of course, everybody pay attention if you're to the Downforce Racing Series Cup page. It is a private page, I do believe. You got to be a part of the league. Am I correct, Bob, to be a part of that?
That's correct,
Okay.
and it's not hard. Just join the Downforce Racing Series Facebook page, and you'll get all the latest news and scuttlebutt.
Yep. Make sure you all stay tuned for the announcements. It'll either come from Bob or Hanover or Mike, one of the three, probably you. But if not you, one of the three, that will be posted on the Downforce Racing Series Cup page.
That's correct.
All right. Well, we do. It looks like Hanover said he loves that Nuremberg. Wow.
Well, he's the only guy I know that's memorized every turn.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've never even drove it. I give everybody kudos for driving it, but I ain't driving it. So you ain't gonna see me. You ain't gonna see me out there. But we got Steven up here with us now. Kind of winding it down here though. But Steven, one of the drivers out there, burns it up on track, and whenever he's not down there racing with you guys, he is up here in the booth with me. But as a driver, Steven, you're out there with Bob and Hanover, and you guys are, burning it up out there. But, I know you did, you would say you hadn't had the best of season, but, hey, you had a great season overall. Awesome job out there, this season. I know you probably got something in store going in for next season, Steven. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, doing pretty good, Bob. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Great to hear you tonight.
Yeah, I just happened to check Facebook or YouTube, seen you guys was on. Thought I'd hop in here for a minute. No, I mean, truck season. I had a pretty good season. You got the stats up there. I had top 10 finish, which is for still a rookie. I'm just now getting into my first year on iRacing, so the Cup season not such a great season, but I missed several races due to illness. But it's been a pleasure to run with these guys. Like I said in chat, Bob and Terry, Vinny, Jeff, PK, all these guys, Charlie especially has actually went into a practice session with me a couple of times and worked with me on some things and trying to get stuff set up on my steering wheel and pedal settings to to make me a little more competitive. And last night really wasn't a good night for me in the Cup Series, but ended up getting back out. Didn't quit. Ended up getting back out there and actually stayed right on the bumper of Bentley there at the last, and just wanted to try to stay with him and run his line. And I was right there with him for the rest of the race.
Oh, okay. So you're just trying to hang on for dear life.
Well, I mean, I was running good. I mean, I was trying to hang on. I got a weird black flag right at the beginning of the race. I talked to Bob and Terry about it, and we think it was just one of them iRacing glitches that gave me the black flag. But I had a 40-second hold for cutting the course on Phoenix of all places.
Oh wow! How does that happen, Bob?
Yeah, we could not figure out. I mean, I don't know how you cut the course at Phoenix. You're allowed to drive everywhere right up to the wall on the entire track. It's just an iRacing glitch, just something out there in the Ethernet. Um, Phoenix does produce a lot of glitches like that. Mike and I were chatting earlier today, and we're not going to permit leader lane choice at Phoenix anymore because it fouls up iRacing every time if the leader decides to take the outside. We've seen that in the past. So yeah, there's no doubt there are some quirky iRacing things that occur at Phoenix.
I see. All right. So that's going to be kind of a new rule, going into the next season for Phoenix, if that's one of the tracks that is on there, which I would assume Phoenix will be on there somewhere.
Well, we'll see.
Hanover out there saying the game giveth and iRacing taketh away.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there's truth to that, no doubt.
Oh, man. All right. So November the 19th, the Truck Series will fire up. And November the 21st, we'll have a Cup race. And then the 26th, which is the following Tuesday, we'll have another truck race. Of course, that following Thursday, of course, you did say, Bob, that the 28th, of course, Thanksgiving, we will be off that day. And then we'll fire back up the following week, which will be the 3rd and then the 5th. And then we'll kind of keep going from there. That's kind of just a quick rundown of what kind of is in store right now. Of course, that could change depending on what kind of happens between now and then.
Yeah, I think we pretty much have that schedule nailed down. I don't see that changing at this point. The where we're going is something that announcement is pending, but I think that schedule's pretty much carved in stone at this point.
All right, so we got some stuff. Well, Bob and them have some stuff. I don't have anything because they just tell me what to do. I'm only here for the SR, as Hanover said. So Bob and them will make those announcements when they finalize everything. So everybody, please stay tuned for that. If y'all don't see it, I see it on their page. I'll definitely share it to get it out there for everybody. So everybody know kind of what's in store, what's going to happen, what's going to take place, when, where, what time. Of course, 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central. Hopefully, we'll be back here on MaxspeedTV. We'll see if Bob fires me or not. I don't know. But, that's going to be, we'll see kind of what happens there. But, Bob, thank you for your time, buddy. I know it's probably getting a little late there where you're at. And I don't know if you got to work tomorrow or not. But stay safe. Really enjoyed the season. Great season on both sides.
Well, thank you. It really was a good season. I think we all had a really good time. A couple thank yous here.
Go ahead.
Want to thank Greg at Growmasters for his sponsorship of the Truck Series. That worked out really well. And we're really happy to have Growmasters on board. Want to thank Mike and Terry Hanover Fist for all the contributions that they make. Mike is very diligent with keeping all of our record keeping and points up to date. during the course of the season. Of course, Terry with setups, setting up the races, so on and so forth. So thank you to them for help keeping the wheels on this thing.
Yeah, it takes everybody. Kind of keep this, a going. Of course, we'll see Steven down there on the track next season, we think. Right, Steven?
Yep. I'll be here. But before Bob goes, like I said, I want to take a minute to publicly thank Bob. Like I said, Terry, or Hanover Fist, Benny, Jeff, Charlie, PK. I had a bad night, and if it wasn't for Bob and Benny and Terry sticking around and talking to me after the race, I was really contemplating quitting. But that just shows the type of guys that they are. To help new guys and anybody really that's struggling. So thank you, Bob. I really, really do appreciate it.
Well, it's our pleasure, and that's what it's all about. We're not racing for money. We're racing for fun and to enjoy each other's company.
And that's what it takes. And that's exactly what it takes. Just kind of help each other out when you can. Of course, go out there and, battle it out. But, that's exactly what it takes. But thank you, everybody that did tune in here tonight. Bob, Steven, thank you for both popping up here. Hanover out there in chat, unable to talk still yet until Sunday, but we'll hopefully hear from him maybe, getting closer to the next season. Hanover, big shout-out to you out there. Of course, I'm going to give a shout-out to Girl Masters as well. Greg over there, I talked to him, he lives north of us, or north of me, several hours, 5-6 hours, but he's got a big old deer farm out there, up there in north of Columbia, actually. If anybody's interested in going seeing some deer, check out the products over at Grow Masters. A big shout out to Greg out there. Of course, a big shout out to everybody out there that tuned in each and every week, in each and every race here on MaxspeedTV. We do appreciate it, but that's going to do it for the Downforce Racing Series Season 15 Cup and Season 7 Truck, sponsored by Grow Masters. Recap here, review with myself, Joshua, Stephen Lane, Bob Lacavara joining me up here tonight. But we will see everybody hopefully on November the 19th for the opening of the Truck Series, and then November the 21st, opening of the Cup Series right here on MaxspeedTV. Until next time, folks, stay safe. Thank you all again, and have a good night.